2, 1. Should be live.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Curran. I'm leader of the council and the Council for Zion Ward, and I'm chair of the Affordable Housing Committee. So thank you for joining the meeting. We're here today to discuss a report which was approved by the Affordable Housing Committee on the 23rd of December. That was subsequently called in by Councillor Chowdhury and other councillors. And then we held a meeting on Wednesday, the 27th, with the overview scrutiny meeting to consider the questions put by Councillor Chowdhury and the other signatories to the call-in. We had, I think, a frank and open debate. There was a lot of questions, there were a lot of answers. And after that meeting, the overview scrutiny made some recommendations to us, and they accepted it. Of the 5 recommendations, I think 2 were asked us to reconsider within this report, and that's, I believe, what we have done. So before we get into the main part of the meeting, that's just giving you the process of where we're up to. Apologies, I've got from Councillor Lily Bath, who's unavailable. There are 3 members of this committee, the other one being Councillor Shantu Rajwa, who's on the call, and he's the lead member for finance. We are quorate, so we're going to carry on with the meeting. I just wanted to say also a big thank you to Councillor Chowdhury for raising these important matters with the overview and scrutiny. It gave us an opportunity to have a really good debate.
Sorry, I believe we may have just lost Councillor Curran.
Unless there's any declarations of interest, Councillor Rajwa, do you have any? Councillor Rajwa?
No, Chair, I don't. Thank you.
Sorry?
I said no, I don't have any declarations, Chair.
Thanks very much. OK, so we move on to the report. Peter, would you like to take us through the report, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Can you hear me?
And introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Right, fine, sorry. I am having connections problems. It's Peter Matthew, I'm the Executive Director for Housing, Planning and Communities. In representing the report, I should feedback that we have revisited the report slightly to reflect the outcomes and the conclusions of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. And the committee has recommended 2 areas that it has asked us to revisit in the report. The first area was... Hello? Hello?
Hi, Peter. We can hear you. Keep going.
Right. The first area it asked us to consider was whether there was adequate consultations with the ward councillors. We have reviewed the situation, and as you will know, members, we do have in place a robust consultation arrangements for the new build schemes which are part of the council house building programme. And through this we engage with individual ward members for each development that is proposed within their wards. Insofar as the property purchase proposals in this report are undertaken as part of the council house building programme, we propose that in future we will ensure that all such schemes will also be subject to the consultation arrangements with ward members. The second area that the Overview and Scrutiny Committee raised was that there might have been inadequate evidence on which the committee based its decision, and it asks for the inclusion of the background documents that we relied on in preparing the report. I think members of the committee are well versed in the background and the governance of the Council's house building programme, which includes the cabinet decisions and the delegations and financial approvals. But whilst members may be aware of that, we take the point made by the Overview and Scrutiny Committee that non-members of the committee may not be sufficiently aware. So for that reason, we have amended the report to make clearer the basis upon which the 3 schemes were selected, and amendments have been made to sections of the report. And we've also added within the report the background documents in the section of the report which contains provisions for identifying the key background information. In doing so, we're now representing the report to you, and the report is seeking approval from the committee for the purchase schemes to be included with the affordable housing programme, and they can entail the 50 homes from Network Homes in Fern Grove, Feltham North, the 55 homes from Barrett Homes at High Street Quarter in Hounslow, and the 164 homes for Berkeley Homes and St Edwards in the proposed home-based site development in Osterley and Spring Grove. Just to elaborate the additional information, we arrived at the selection of these 3, and we've amended paragraph 3.3 of the report, which now clarifies that we did approach all major developers and registered housing providers who have been operating in the borough to establish whether they had properties available for sale and at what costs, and whether they would be interested in disposing of those properties to the council as bulk purchase schemes. And that process was undertaken throughout May, June and July of last year. We had 7 responses to these requests, and in selecting the 3, we applied a prioritization which was based on the stage at which the developments were in terms of the development process and their expected completion dates, the layout and the configuration of the units. And I think what we wanted to understand was whether the units would be in blocks and stood alone, or whether they were integrated into units. We also wanted to understand whether the proposals were part of developments which had been stalled as a result of the COVID pandemic, and whether in the council purchasing those blocks, we would effectively be unlocking those development and therefore contributing to the borough's overall economic activity. And then finally, we wanted to understand whether the developments would offer the spread of sizes and mix of housing units needed to address the council's housing need. Overall, the 3 schemes that we propose and recommend in this report came out best, and therefore we recommend to committee that you approve the recommendation of this report.
Okay, thanks very much, Peter. Thanks very much, Peter. A couple of questions and comments. So I'm glad now that we've clarified the consultation process going forward. I'm glad that we've clarified the criteria for selecting these sites. So I'm really pleased about that. We've clarified the financial route for approval. That's clear in the report. Just so we're clear, so there was an error which was raised by Councillor Luke in his letter to me on the location. We've now resolved that. It's Osterley and Spring Grove for the home-based site, not Zion Ward as previously indicated. And hopefully we've now cleared up the point that, and I think it's clear for the report, but for the minute it would be helpful that just to clarify that there is no relationship between the recommendations in this report and the proposed planning application, which might come forward to the planning authority at some point in the future. Can you just confirm that for me?
Yes, I can confirm that, Chair. And just to make it clear, at paragraph 322 of the report, we have actually specified very clearly that the scheme in question is a major scheme which is currently subject to a local authority plan application. It also clarifies that if planning approval is not achieved, the purchase will not proceed.
Thank you very much. Councillor Rajwat, do you have any questions or comments?
Chair, no questions. I'm just, I'm like you. I'm glad we've clarified. We've taken on board Scrutiny's comments, and that we can go ahead with these. I think they're needed properties for our housing register. Obviously, the one at home base is subject to its planning, and obviously we've got a contingency. Yeah, we can approach other suppliers should the home base site not come off on planning. So there are plenty of other options there. So I'm happy with the report as Peter's laid out.
Thank you very much. So I've got no further points to raise. So just once again, thanking the Overview and Scrutiny Committee for their input, Councillor Chowdhury for her input in calling in this report, and for the other councillors for doing so. As I say, we had, I thought, a very interesting and good debate. We've reached a sensible conclusion, taken on board the comments from the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. There are a couple of matters that I'll be writing to the Chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee about in the next few days, but that's outside the remit of this report. So I'd like to thank everyone for their contribution. As Councillor Rajwat has moved that we accept the recommendations of the report as now is, I agree with those recommendations, so that is then carried. I have no other urgent business, so that is the end of the meeting, unless officers need me to say anything else. No?
No.
Okay. So thank you very much, everyone, and see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.